Hey you guys, welcome back to my channel. So in today's video, I'm going to be doing a versatile quick weave install, and I'm going to be installing a 2x6 closure for the very first time. I'm installing it behind the hairline so that it gives it a more natural look when I'm not wearing bangs. And although the majority of this install is going to be glued in, I'm going to use my needle and thread to secure the cap and the closure. And I'm reusing my Cambodian extensions that were washed and blow dried. Now let's get into this video. So first I wanted to show you guys my braid down, and notice how I only left a little bit of hair out at the top so that I could place my 2x6 closure directly behind it. And I also left hair out around my sides and my nape so that I can pin my hair up as well. I'm placing 2 caps over my cornrows. The first cap is nude and the second cap is black. So right here, I'm sewing down the cap along the front of my hair, and I'm also going to sew it around where I'm going to lay the closure to secure the cap. So right here, I'm going to start sewing around where I'm going to be laying my closure. Once I was done that, I put on a cape to protect my clothes because now it's time to mow down my cap. And as usual, I'm going to be using Robert's Bond Protective Shield and a dye brush to apply it to my cap. This is also going to secure your cap, but be sure not to place the bond where you're going to be placing your closure. Also be sure not to apply it to the leave out on your sides or your nape. Apply it exactly how I'm doing it in the video. Right here, I'm just making sure I got protective bond directly above the leave outs on my sides and my nape. Now I'm going to take my Got2b glue and spray everywhere that I applied the protective bond. This is going to help it dry so much faster. And also stick everywhere that I needed to stick. Now I'm going to blow dry my cap until it's fully dry and hard. And while I'm doing this, I'm pressing down on my cap right above my leave out where I want it to stick. Next, I took my block mannequin head and I pinned down my closure so that I could braid it back. I did this to get all of the hair out the way while I'm trying to install it on my head. Once that was done, I took a little bit of my powdered makeup and I'm just going to apply it to the inside of my 2x6 closure because I don't really like the makeup on top of the closure. I think it looks really cakey. I'm trying to avoid having to put makeup on top of the closure, meaning like in the part. I don't want to have to do that. So I'm hoping I don't have to do that. I'm not too familiar with closures. I'm more of a leave out girl, but that is the goal, to not have to put makeup in the part or anywhere on top of my closure. Next, I'm going to cut off the black cap where I'm going to be placing my closure. Next, I'm going to place the same makeup to my nude cap, and then I spray a little Got2b glue directly behind my leave out, and I put on an elastic band and blow dried it so that it'll stick and lay flat. If yours is already laying flat, then you can skip this part. Next, I cut off all the excess nude cap. Once that was done, I cut off all the extra lace, kind of going in a zigzag motion. Then I cut off those two bulky pieces on each side of the closure so that it'll lay flat. I only needed to cut off a little in the front. So when I laid my closure, I laid it directly behind my leave out, actually touching my leave out. I want my parts to line up perfectly. And as you can see in the video, I'm pulling down where I'm going to start sewing down my closure. It's not the very front of the closure. The very front of the closure needs to touch the back of your leave out, and you're going to start sewing down wherever your cornrow is. I'm sewing down my closure because I want it to lay really flat and tight. So I pulled the closure before I start sewing it down because I want it to be really tight, but not too tight to the point where like it's uncomfortable or pulling my hair. Since I need my closure to lay super flat in the front, once I secured one side of my closure, I took a different needle and I pulled my closure and secured the opposite side. This is to ensure that my closure stays in place and it'll be easy for me to sew the rest of it down. So that the beginning of my closure is still touching my leave out, I hold my closure in place while I completely secure the front. So at the beginning of my closure, I'm going to take those two corners and I'm going to sew them down kind of tight to the front of my cornrows. This is so that the beginning of your closure is laying super flat behind your leave out. So first we placed the closure where we wanted it to lay, secured it there, and now we're securing the very front and making sure it's flat and tight. And as you can see, it's laying super flat. So now I'm just sewing down the rest of my closure, and let me tell y'all, it is super easy. It is not as hard as it looks. Okay, so now it's time to glue on my extensions. So I'm just going to put a towel over my shoulders so that none of the glue gets on my clothes. Okay, so I'm just going to start by laying all of my tracks coming from the back of my head to the front of my head towards my face in a U shape using my Salon Pro 30-second bond glue. Make sure you're placing it directly beneath the closure with no gaps. I'm going to continue to lay my tracks going in a U shape until I have to start filling in the middle, since I'm going to be wearing bangs the majority of the time. And this is what it should look like. Now it's time to start filling in the gap beneath the closure. I had to cut a few smaller pieces as well to fill in the gap. Now it's time for the fun part, which is styling my extensions. So I straightened my leave out a little off camera just to see how my natural part is blending with my closure part. And I must admit, it looks really natural. So now it's time to start cutting my bangs. So first I start by combing some of my hair to the front, and I use my wax stick and my hot comb to kind of press my hair in the direction that I want it to go, and to try and get rid of that middle part so I can have everything laying flat before I start cutting and layering my hair. After I measure how wide I want my bangs, I just take my shears and I cut straight across. From there, I begin to cut layers and frame my face. So basically, I'm just cutting little by little until I get my bangs exactly the length that I want them. And I'm also using my thinning shears to thin everything out as I go. So I also cut a lot of layers throughout my hair. I just pulled my hair out and cut down in an angle. I did this throughout my entire head until I had the amount of layers that I wanted. And as you can see, I also have a blunt cut, but I'm not sure why I didn't get this part on camera. All I did was pull all of my hair to the front. I held it in one hand and cut it straight across. So now I'm just going to take a little of my Cheese Silk Infusion Serum and rub a little in my hair and press it all out. And then I pin my hair up and press my leave out as well. Once I was done straightening out my hair, I took my curling iron and added some curl to my hair. I wanted to give it a slight fluffy curly look. Once I'm finished, I spray my hair with some Kenra finishing hairspray before I comb my curls out. So I realized that I wanted a few more layers to give my hair a little more body, so I just took my shears and just started cutting until it gave me the look that I wanted. And you guys, this is the finished product. It turned out super cute. This was my first time installing a 2x6 closure and I'm loving it. I've been wanting to try something new for a while. That's why I went with bangs. And the fact that this install is very versatile just makes it even better. Just look at all these super cute looks I'm giving with just one install. So this is the end of this video. I hope you guys found it helpful, and if you did, don't forget to hit that like button, and most importantly, don't forget to subscribe. And if there's a tutorial you guys would like for me to do, just go ahead and leave that in the comments, and I'll see you guys in the next video.